This is my 1986 Nissan Stanza Wagon, and I'm about 30 seconds away from pushing this thing off a cliff. In today's video, you'll find out why. Hey everybody, Ethan here. Welcome to Hello Road. So right behind me is my 1986 Nissan Stanza Wagon, and this strange, obscure, kind of adorably awkward box on wheels. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while now, you'll know that I've had this car for a few years. And when I first got it, it drove great. I drove it all around Los Angeles and just enjoyed the strange looks on people's faces when they saw this thing, trying to figure out what the heck it actually was. Purchasing a car with only 50,000 miles on the clock seems like a great idea, right? Maybe not so much for a car that is 35 years old. This car sat for a long time before I bought it, and sitting isn't always the best thing for vehicles. So I really wanted to try to do a few things that would help make this car last another 35 years. I actually had a bunch of work done to it. The radiator has been rebuilt, it's got new axles, I put some new tires on it, redid the front brake rotors and pads, it's got a brand new valve cover gasket, did a full tune-up, it's got new spark plugs, wires, air filter, new belts, new hoses. Now with all that work that I did to it, you'd think that this thing should be running beautifully, you'd think there should be no problems at all. But it started to develop a hesitation, which has turned into stalling, usually in the middle of busy intersections. It's so much fun stalling in the middle of busy intersections in Los Angeles traffic, getting honked at by people. You know, I actually kind of wonder if they're honking at me because I'm blocking traffic, or if they're just honking at me because they're so delighted to see such a rare and obscure vehicle from the 1980s. So that's absolutely no good and kind of surprising considering how much work I put into this thing. It seems like it's actually running worse now that it's had a tune-up. I checked the spark plug gaps, I checked everything you could possibly think of, and I still couldn't quite figure it out. And then I thought the kind of behavior it's exhibiting sort of reminds me of a bad fuel filter. So I went and spent 3 hours trying to get the fuel filter out of this thing. I finally got it, replaced it, and guess what? The problem somehow got even worse. I'm not sure how it's possible, but just replacing all of these easy, simple parts somehow made this vehicle worse. So this ended up being a little bit beyond my level of expertise, and if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I'm a absolutely terrible mechanic. I really should probably get a shirt that says that, maybe some stickers for my car, so people know when parts fall off, they'll know why that's happening. But anyway, so I brought it to my mechanic, and they tried a bunch of things. They immediately found a bunch of vacuum leaks, so I figured let's replace all of the vacuum lines and rule that out. And yep, after doing all that, it was still stalling. So then they were pretty sure it was the airflow meter, so I had them replace the whole unit, and yeah, still stalling. And their last ditch effort was to replace the throttle position sensor. Incredibly hard to find a throttle position sensor. I bought 3 that were the wrong ones, and then I finally found one on eBay, which I believe to have been the last one available online. So if you have a Stanza Wagon that needs a throttle position sensor, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure I bought the absolute last one. This is just the nature of working on obscure old cars like this. Parts are getting harder and harder to find by the day. There's a reason why this car sat and somebody stopped driving it for years, even with only 50,000 miles on the clock. So there's a tiny bit of good news. The shop got it to stop stalling, sort of temporarily. When I drove it home from the shop, it didn't stall in the middle of intersections, but it merely hesitated pretty badly. So yeah, they kind of fixed it a little bit. I think they pretty much just threw their hands up and really couldn't figure it out. And now the car's been sitting for a few weeks. I haven't driven it because I really can't. Now it is kind of stalling again. So I'm just about ready to give up on this quirky little car. I've done everything that I possibly can think of. There's very few shops that actually want to work on a vehicle like this, and I'm too dumb to figure it out myself. So I have one last attempt of something that I could try that might fix this thing. I'm going to throw a new fuel pump on it. That's like the last thing that I can think of that might be causing the stalling. Now I don't have a tool to measure the fuel pressure, but a new fuel pump was only like 20 bucks, so I figured, why don't I just slap it on there and see if that does anything? Because the fuel pump sounds awful on this thing. It whines like crazy, especially at higher RPMs. It sounds like it's just struggling. So I can't really think of anything else to try. And if this doesn't work, I'm gonna look for the nearest cliff to push this thing off of. I think this is gonna be the last thing I'm gonna try for this car. And if this doesn't work, I'm just gonna cry. I'm gonna cry a lot. All right, the good news is that the fuel pump is very easy to get to. It's just right under the passenger side frame rail on the bottom here. Hopefully, I should be able to get this in and out pretty quickly. So the first step is to take that fuel pump relay out of the fuse box, start it for a little bit and let it die, so that way it kind of flushes some of the fuel out of the system. All right, so there's the fuel pump relay is actually just that first one. There we go. So now I should just be able to start this and it should die after the fuel gets cut off. So let's try it. Well, maybe there's no fuel left in it anyway. Maybe we don't need to run it at all. Because last time I did this, it ran for a few seconds and then died, but let's just call that good, I guess. All right, here's the new fuel pump. I've never installed a fuel pump before, so I have no idea how this is going to go. And anytime you're working around fuel, it's probably not a bad idea to have one of these kicking around. I should probably keep one of these in every single car that I own, just because they're all likely to explode at some point, but yes, keep one of these nearby. So it actually looks like it's going to be pretty easy to get to and pretty easy to uninstall, I think. Looks like there's 4 screws or bolts down here, and then just to remove the hose on this side of the pump, and then to remove the hose on this side of the pump. And then of course you've got your electrical connections right here. It should hopefully be relatively straightforward, I think. Alrighty. Alright, should come out now, I think. Alright. We got it. Actually, it doesn't really look that old. Kind of has me worried that maybe this isn't the problem. Actually, the new one looks a little smaller, which is a little concerning. Well, let's try it anyway. Take out this, can slide right off. All right, so let's see if this does the trick. There we go, that kind of works. Washer and the bolt on. There we go. It's on, sort of. So after much wrangling and a few swear words, actually only maybe just one, I was able to get this bracket on the new fuel pump. So now let's install it. All right, I think I've got it. We got all of the hose clamps. We got these stupid little plastic nuts, which seem to be holding all right. All right, the new fuel pump is in. Let's see if this thing will start. I'm about 60% sure I did that properly. Relays back in. All right, time for the moment of truth. What do you think? Wish me luck. Whoa, so much quieter. Well, it seems to be idling okay. I am just blown away by how much quieter this fuel pump is. I think that's a good sign. The other one whined and howled and buzzed like crazy. Well, I think there's only one way to figure out if this is actually working. I'll take it for a test drive. Please, please, please run properly. Please don't stall in the middle of intersections again. Ugh. All right, let's see what happens. Off to a good start. Made it through that intersection. I felt a little hesitation, but it didn't stall. Oh man, this is nerve-wracking. I'm just driving around my neighborhood. There's not a lot of traffic around here, but still, just feel like an idiot when your old piece of crap car just stalls in the middle of the street. Full throttle. This thing is so slow. Full throttle basically does nothing. Still hasn't stalled yet. Okay, so this is what usually happens when I come to a stop. I don't know what it is, but when I come to a stop, this is often where it stalls. Ooh, it didn't stall. That's exciting. I don't want to get my hopes up just yet, but ooh, I feel a smile coming on. Don't smile just yet, don't smile just yet. This could end poorly. As you've seen from my previous videos, I have very bad car karma. This could explode, this could just spontaneously combust at any second. But so far, this is looking all right. All right, so we're gonna try this again. We're gonna come to a stop, because this is often what used to happen at intersections. Wow, this is like way better than it was before. I gotta try it one more time. Okay, coming to a complete stop, still idling fine. No hesitation at all. This is awesome! A maniacal laugh because my car is not stalling. Oh man, I gotta get new hobbies. This is very exciting. Can you believe it? It's actually running decently. The Stanza Wagon will be around to live another day. I don't have to push it off a cliff. At least not today. Now it really looks like replacing that fuel pump went a long way to making this thing run properly. I mean, it's not at 100%, but it's 1,000 times better than it was this morning. No more stalling. I didn't have anybody honk at me today, and this thing actually sounds pretty decent. I'm so excited. I don't have to end this day crying in a corner, wondering what I've done with my life. I mean, I might still do that, but it won't be because of this vehicle. Now the question is, what do I do with this vehicle? I really love this thing when it's running properly. I enjoy the quirkiness of it. I enjoy the weirdness of it. I've enjoyed the process of trying to bring this thing back to life after having sat for a long time. But as you look around my yard, as you've probably noticed, I have way too many projects, and I think it's about time that this Stanza Wagon goes on to a new owner. Yep, I'm gonna sell it. I know it's pretty stupid. I finally get the thing running properly and I go and sell it. That seems to be a common theme with me and my vehicles. I really haven't driven it a lot in the few years that I've owned it. So yeah, hopefully we can find a new owner that loves quirky, weird, pillarless vehicles as much as I do. So I think that's gonna be it for this Stanza Wagon today. Yep, this thing's going up for sale. I'll most likely list it on an auction site, and I'll be sure to let you know when that goes live in case you're interested in buying this ridiculous vehicle. Speaking of ridiculous vehicles, I've got a whole bunch of other projects, as you probably know, that are in various states of disrepair, just piles of mostly garbage that I haven't gotten to yet. So selling this should hopefully give me a little bit more time to work on all of the other crap that I have here. In fact, I got this Subaru Legacy for free that I haven't even made a video about. Haven't had a chance to do that. Liam Neeson's still sitting under a tarp. That Jeep YJ, I have barely done anything with it. My 944 Turbo is over there behind a bunch of trash. The Previa is in the front, not working properly. The Probe is in the front, also not working properly. As you can see, I've got a lot on my hands. Just one little word of advice, don't ever own more than just a handful of vehicles. It's awful, it's really bad, it's not good for your mental health. Don't do it. However, if you want to help fuel this ridiculousness, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/HelloRoad. You'll get early access to my videos and more. For as little as $2 a month, you can help support the show. Also consider buying a Hello Road t-shirt. I've got a whole bunch of different designs at helloroad.tv/shop. All right, I think that's gonna be it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, do not buy a fleet of mostly broken cars. It's not a good thing. This may look so glamorous, but it's really quite terrible. Please help, please send some help. All right, see you later.